Hello, everyone. I am Tina Kadish, tuning in today with my special guest, Dr. Adrienne Moxie, who I'm so honored to have known. She is in the publishing of multiple books. She is a creator of multiple books, I should say. And today we are going to talk about many things, but one of the things I want to go into is, besides sharing who you are and your brilliance, is how does creativity fit into starting a business? Because as a life and business coach and author myself, I work with women that are leaving the corporate world. They want to start a business. They don't know how to start a business. What are the missing ingredients, the links? And creativity definitely, I believe, plays a huge part that most people might not think about. So, Dr. Adrienne, take it away. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So I'm a creative living coach. And basically what that means is that I help you find your spark. What's a spark? The spark is that thing that lights you up every time you think about it, every time you talk about it, anytime you do something around it. It's that natural gift that you have for the world, and you're leveraging it to create real value for yourself and for others. And, of course, that you can exchange for real value. Ka-ching, ka-ching, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. So what I do is I just get people back in touch with their natural creative cycle. I call this the doer cycle. So it's dreaming, organizing, executing, and revising. And that simple little 4-part cycle helps you to create everything that you want to create in the world. Now, talking about creativity in business, people often think, well, I'm not a creative, right? I'm not a creative type. I'm not an artist. I'm not a writer, whatever. And so they don't think that they need creativity in their lives. And I just have to laugh every time somebody says that. Because of course, if you are solving problems, if you are coming up with innovative ideas and solutions, you are creative. You are an innovator.
It's funny you say that, because I have said it myself. I'm not a creative person. I don't like to write. I can't write. All this language that we use that doesn't serve us, which is a whole nother conversation about using the right language. And you're absolutely right. Being a former corporate woman, I am now an entrepreneur, and I help other women. Help them find their spark. I call it, I've helped them find their passion and getting excited every day with intention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Intention, so important. So here's one of the things that I hear so often. When someone starts a business, they're very focused on the how and the what, right? They're not focused on the why and the who. And those are actually what makes the what and the how, okay? So once you figure out what you truly value, what you actually care about, what really matters to you, then the rest of it falls into place. Because once you know why you're doing what you're doing, you can figure out who you're doing it for. Because surprise, it's the people who value the stuff that you value. Okay, it's the people who care about the stuff that you care about. So once you know what you care about, you can find those people just by sending out a beacon. I say be a beacon for what you're seeking, right? Send out a beacon of like, here is me. Here's what I care about. Here's what matters to me. And you do that with your care. Where do you put your care? Where do you put your energy and your effort, right? And so when you do that, when you start to send out that little signal, bing, 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 I'm over here, those people find you. And when those people find you, you figure out, wait a second, they're struggling with this and this and this and this, okay? You find their pain points. You discover what is bothering them. And that is your opportunity, because once you figure out what their pain points are and what they desire, what they really, really want to feel, here's what they feel, here's what they want to feel, okay? This in the middle, that's you. That's your journey.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the how, it creates itself once you know those things. Now, let's talk about content. Because of course, everyone who's in business needs to create content. Why? Because people need to know what you offer.
I know it's amazing, because that's another thing that I've said myself. I don't like to create content. There's many people out there as a business owner. They love what they do. They want to just serve their clients. Well, the key is, how are you going to get the clients?
How are they going to know what you do?
Yeah.
Because, if I don't know that the solution is out there, then I'm not even looking for the solution. And how am I ever going to find it? And so the key to creating great content, really resonant content, content that actually creates the emotional response that you're looking for in your audience, taking them from here over to here, right? The key to doing that, again, is to figure out your core message. So when you figure out your core values, you can also figure out your core message. What do you think everyone in the world needs to know? What do you want everyone in the world, on the planet, to understand? Once you figure that out, believe me, you will not want to shut up about it. If you really have hit on your core message, you will not have a problem coming up with content. The problem you will have is you can't stop talking about it.
It's funny you say that, because when I think myself writing content, but like, for example, today I was in a meeting with my coach, and we're talking, and being a former corporate woman myself, like I said, we're talking about fear. And this is something that really my clients, their pain points, and this was me, having fear. They were paralyzed by fear, riddled with fear. We talked about this morning, and I said that was me staying in a corporate job because of fear. And a key point that came up today was the reason why we stay there in the unhappy, unfulfilled, stuck mode.
Yeah.
It's because we don't trust ourselves that we can do it, that we can be successful in our business, following our passions, every day loving what we do, that spark, waking up every day and being excited. And so we stay in that mode every day. And I was there.
Let me tell you something, Tina. Whenever I hear someone say, I don't know what I want, I know what they really mean. What they really mean is, I know exactly what I want, but I decided a long time ago that I can't have that.
That's right. They gave up.
They gave up. Hard. I give up. I can't have it. And because, of course, you know what you want, anything that is not this, you don't really want. And so you can't figure out what you want, because the one thing you want is off the table.
That's right. That's right.
Once you bring this back, once you acknowledge and embrace, this is my true desire, this is what I really want, then you discover all kinds of things related to that you also want and are interested in, and could use your gifts to create beautiful value around. But you can't do it until you embrace that core desire. I say, so desire actually comes, and here's my word nerd. Are you ready for this?
I'm
Desire
ready.
actually comes from decidere, which means of the stars. And so it's actually related to destiny. Your desire is what leads you to your destiny, what is written for you in the stars. And so if you are denying your desire, if you are judging your desire, then your destiny will never be yours. You have denied it to yourself.
I love that. Desire leads you to your destiny.
Absolutely.
That is so, I've really never thought of it that way, because
it's the North Star. It leads you.
It leads you to, yeah. That is so important.
Once you align to it, once you truly align to, like, I know exactly what I want and I've got it here in my sights, right? That's when the path starts to create itself. That's when you find all these wonderful little synchronicities that just start to pop up and bubble up, right? Yeah. And so if you are aligned to your destiny, then you're on the path. You are the path at that point, okay? You don't need to worry about the how anymore. It just starts to create itself. But you have to stop judging that desire as too difficult, too much, too selfish, too this, too that, too whatever, or not this enough, not responsible enough, not practical enough, whatever. Okay. When you know you want something.
Go ahead. Yeah. When you know you want something.
You know you want something, you know you want that thing, right? Just embrace it. That's all. What were you going to say?
So what I was going to say is, yeah, when you said stop judging, a lot of times what I have found is women primarily, because, that's what I'm focusing on, is they just give up on themselves. And they're so focusing on, and I hear this and it just makes me cringe. Oh, now is not the right time because it would create a lot of stress for my family. It's very stressful, okay, for my family, because my income is what they rely on. Like I'm the primary breadwinner in my family, and I need my income. And I hear this very often, that the number one reason that women do not leave the corporate world is not only that they don't trust themselves to make it happen, but they make those excuses that the money, the family, all of these reasons. And that is a very common reason that people stay. And I hear this all the time.
And let me tell you, that's not wrong. Okay. That they are right. That was a real concern.
Yes.
However, you know what's really stressful? Living with someone who's miserable. You know what's really stressful? Being miserable. Okay.
Amen.
Misaligned, when you are not being appreciated for your true worth and your true values and your true gifts, you're going to end up miserable, and you're going to make everybody around you miserable. That's just a fact.
It is a fact. And that was me.
Me too.
Okay. Because that was my background. I've been in recruiting and training, and my last position, miserable, wasn't appreciated, wasn't valued. And what would I do? I would take it home to my husband, which my husband started getting annoyed. And this is another thing that I talk about, is that when you're not happy, it affects your marriage.
Everything.
It affects your health. It affects your other relationships with your friends, which my friends were tired of hearing about me. My family was tired of hearing from me of how unhappy I was. And so I kept saying, I'm going to quit. But you know what happened? I believe in manifesting. I was actually let go from that job in 2018. And they must have felt it, seen it. Not that what I did was I voiced my opinion about something that they didn't like. I disagreed about something very, very basic, and being there 11 years and had great performances with them over the years, the top recruiter in my department. And I voiced my opinion, and I got let go. And I was like, okay, God, I'm a believer. And I said, you pushed me out because you were tired of hearing me making excuses that I wasn't leaving, and I had to be pushed out.
Girl, we are living parallel lives. Okay. That's pretty much my exact story, right?
Oh, wow.
And here's the thing. When I lost that job, I had that moment, right, where I was on the rooftop, snot bubbles coming out, freaking out, going, what on earth am I going to do? Right. And I thought about my family, and I thought about insurance, and I thought about money, and I thought about all of these things. Right. And so I'm immediately trying to think of, like, what job can I get, next? And then I did the crazy thing. Instead of coming up with a plan, I let go of the wheel, and I said, Bobby. So I called God Bobby. That's my little nickname for the universe. Okay. I said, Bobby, listen, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. And I know that I don't have to know, because you know. So I'm turning it over to you, right? Show me where I'm supposed to go next. And in return, I will stop trying to control this. I will stop trying to take control of what happens next. And man, Bobby works fast. Because immediately all of these things started to slough off from my life that were not serving me. And it was painful and it was difficult. And yeah, there were some really hard conversations that had in there. But guess what? Anything that can be destroyed by the truth should be. And at the end of that process, I discovered me, the me that I had always wanted to be. And I created this whole process for discerning that me. And I wrote a whole book about it called Release Your Masterpiece, which comes out on Sunday. But it was that moment of surrender that made that possible, of recognizing that it's not all on me. All creation is co-creation. And to invite my higher power, source energy in and say, okay, you know what I really, really want. You know what I really, really want. Help me get there. And that's the powerful moment. And here's what I realized. My daughter, I was so worried that like I wasn't going to be a good mom and show up for her financially and in all these ways. And what I realized was I started showing up for her in ways that I never knew was possible after that. I started showing up for her in a way where I was giving an example of how to live your life authentically and aligned to your true values. And I let that little girl see me do that and go through that struggle, but come out the other side victorious.
Amen.
I gave her that gift.
Wow. I mean, and that's the thing, because you're living authentically and you're doing what you love to do. And you're teaching, we're teaching the younger generation, okay, of what is important, instead of staying in places and not following our value, not loving what we do, not doing what we love to do, not really following our passions, our purpose, what we're destined, like you said, okay, that what we're destined to do. And that is amazing. So tell me a little bit about so you've got a new book coming out, Release Your Masterpiece, launching on Sunday. Oh, that's awesome. So tell us about the book. What is it about? And definitely share how people can grab a copy of it.
Absolutely. So the book, just like I said, is really a process of self-discovery. It's a process of finding what really matters to you and all the other people who that matters to, how to attract them into your life, and then how to create content that is really going to resonate with them and genuinely be helpful and valuable to them. So they're going to want to exchange value with you. They're going to want to pay you for your gifts. Okay, that's what this book is. It is perfect for entrepreneurs. It is perfect for creators. It's perfect for anyone who wants to be in business for themselves because they are really tired of trying to fit themselves into a box that doesn't frickin' fit.
Exactly. It doesn't fit. They're tired of it. They're miserable human beings, and we need positivity here. Okay. We need people that are following their life. I say this, life is too short. Okay. And, sharing my journey in 2018, being pushed out, because I was an entrepreneur after 2018, I was able to take care of my daughter while she was going through her cancer journey. And had I not been an entrepreneur running a business while being with her, I would not have been able to be with her every single day until she passed away. I really couldn't have. And so when all of you that are listening here today, watching this, that are going to watch this video, think about, what are you giving up? Okay. And why are you giving up? Like, tomorrow, your life can change in a blink of an eye. It could change. And if you're not happy where you are right now, it's time to change. Make a change, make a decision. I always say this, it begins with a decision. You made a decision. You talked to Bobby. Okay. You let go. I say, let go, let God, take over the wheel here, because I can't figure this out. I'm not going to figure it out. I tend to be a control freak and I want to have it all figured out. And it doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't work that way. Okay. And, so I applaud you for that. That sounds like a great book. I'm definitely going to go get it myself.
Please do.
That sounds amazing, about the book. So it's on Amazon, or will be on Amazon, or is it on
It is
Amazon?
available for pre-order on Amazon right now. You can also go to my website, which is Audrey Mac, ADRIEMAC.com, and you can pre-order a printed copy or an autographed copy as well.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. So any final thoughts, Dr. Adrienne, before we
Yeah, absolutely. So
close it
we
off?
were just talking about the importance of making a decision. I have what I call the 8 8s, ATES. And so the first one is initiate. You have to initiate. You have to be the one to decide. Often we think we are being so clear with the universe about what we really want, but actually what we're doing is like sitting in the cafe of the universe, and every time the waitress comes around, we're like, I'm so tired of cold Earl Grey tea. It's been sitting in front of me for the last hour and it's so gross and I really don't want any more of it. And she's like, well, I don't know what you want, so I guess I'm going to bring you some more Earl Grey tea.
That's right. That's right. So you have to initiate.
You have to initiate. You have to tell the universe, hey, universe, here's what I want. And the way you do that is not just by saying it out loud. You can say it out loud. That's great. I say, spelling it out, that's why you cast a spell. So when you write that down and then you feel what it's going to feel like when you have that in your life, marrying that feeling to that order, that's where manifestation happens. That's the magic of prayer, when you marry the feeling to the desire. So clearly spell it out for yourself or the universe, and then feel as if you already have that in your life.
Yeah. I've heard that before. Getting into that feeling, what would it look like? Having a vision. One of the things that I do is vision mapping. I help people really create that picture, but putting it on, and it's not just pictures from a magazine. It's what is it that you want to create, and putting it on pictures, creating pictures, having that visualization so that you really will manifest it. Okay.
What works really well for me, I have what I call my manifestation movies. It's a little slideshow that I create, and I pop in and out pictures all the time because it's constantly changing, right? Like a vision board doesn't work for me because like 2 minutes later, it's out of date. So
I know. You know what? That's funny you say that, because I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I make these little movies, it's a little slideshow, and it has music along with it. And that is so important to me. I really feel like, I could get into the science of the harmonics of music and all of that, but basically I believe music is medicine. And so when we listen to the right music, when we're looking at those pictures, it can put us perfectly into the right vibrational harmonic immediately. And we're just set for the rest of the day. So if the first thing you do in the morning is watch this little movie and listen to this little song that just puts you in that place, like, bam, you're there. You're there energetically for the rest of the day. And that's all we really want, right? Is to feel what we want to feel. That's the whole thing. So if you can just feel that way, regardless of what's going on out here, you're there. You're already there, babe.
Yeah, you're there. It's all vibrational. It really is. It's all energy. In my book, I talk about energy because it really is. It's that feeling that you're putting in. I mean, if you're feeling like, I'm just not going to get clients. I'm not going to grow my business. I can't write content. I can't do this and I can't do that. And all of that comes out of your mouth because language is so important. How are you going to manifest the right things? And so it's so important to be in the feeling. So awesome. And what else? You were sharing more steps about decision making.
So there's the initiate, right? Next is co-create. And I say co-create rather than just create, because of course, I really believe that all creation comes from source energy. And so what you're really doing when you co-create is what I call that dreaming phase. You're just opening yourself up to what is, to the energy that is already around you. You're getting quiet. We don't do enough of this in our lives, in this culture. Okay. People think
quiet.
If you're not doing actively, then you're not being productive. And that is absolutely wrong. Okay. You need a balance. You need to not do in order to be able to do. And so there is that time, and we're actually in the new moon phase right now, which is the dreaming phase. And so this is a perfect time to just stop doing anything. Okay. Just come inside, listen, get quiet, create empty space. I know it's terrifying. This is what, we end up staying in relationships that aren't good for us. We end up staying in jobs that we're not in love with, right? Because it's good enough for now. It's the best we've got. And so we hang on to it just in case. You have to stop doing that, because you have to create space for what you really want. Every yes is a no to something else, something that you don't even know exists, right? I always say every interaction is an audition for a role that you didn't know existed, because it didn't exist until they met you.
I love that.
So, yeah, you have to keep that empty space and keep inviting those things that you really want into your life energetically by putting out that value aligned energy.
I love that. I love that. Dreaming. Yeah. So that is something for me that I've had multiple people tell me, always doing, when you need to be.
Yep.
And it's okay to be silent and to just do nothing and just being, and more will happen. Like,
yes.
It's something that I've had to work with, and I've struggled with it.
Yeah. You are enough. You do enough.
I am enough. I am enough. You are enough. Yes. Also, so co-create, what is the next step? You said initiate, co-create,
innovate.
Innovate.
Step. And so what that means is you get into that kind of organizing energy where you've got this, you've been given this idea from the universe, from somewhere, right? It comes, who knows where it comes from, it doesn't matter, but magically you have this new idea, right? Now what you're going to do is put your own spin on it. You start to explore, how does this relate to my values? How does this relate to what really matters to me? How does this relate to the people who matter to me, who I care about? How can I use this new idea, this new energy to make their lives better, to help them thrive more? And that's where you get into mind mapping and starting to explore outward in all of these different areas. Then what you're going to do is actually like execute, pour something out of you, right? That's when you really, the rubber hits the road and you just let something pour on out of you. Because here's the danger in that space. We have that little revisor, right? The little editor sitting on our shoulder who wants to drive during that time. You cannot let them drive during that time, okay? Their turn comes next. You cannot let them interrupt this part of the cycle. You have to just pour out whatever is in you. And then you have something to work with, something to prune down and to say, oh, okay, what's the most useful for this audience at this time? When we talk about content creation, right? It's kind of like, so you poured out all this stuff, you grew this orchard, right? And it's full of fruit. Now you're going through and picking the pie apples, because what your audience asked for was an apple pie, okay? They said, I'm really having a hard time. I don't have enough apple pie in my life. Okay, so what you're doing is you're picking the right apples to go into this apple pie. Now, that doesn't mean that pears are disgusting. That doesn't mean that you're never going to use the bananas for something else. Okay, it means that right now we're just taking those parts out and leaving them for later. You're really narrowing it down to this little kernel of like, what gets my audience from here to here? Right, and that's all your content needs to do. Just take them from where they're stuck to where they want to be. One little step. Right. And every one of your pieces of content should do exactly that. Whether it's a Facebook post, or it's a book, or it's a series of books, or it's a podcast, whatever it is, you're just taking them, oh, I'm frustrated, I'm stuck, I want to be over here. How do I get them there? How do I get there? What's the pathway to get them there? That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. What is that vehicle that you're taking them through? So execute, in writing my second book that's coming out in May, myself, I just had to let it pour out. Yeah. And of course I worked with an expert publishing company, and it was great. And again, saying I'm not a writer, and my daughter, who was a writer, my daughter was a journalist, and would always say to me, Mom, you never write. I said, well, I would say I don't like to write. Well, she'd be so proud of me because I'm coming out with my second solo book. She must be up in heaven saying, go, Mom, you're a writer. I cannot believe you're writing.
It's like, so it's just amazing what is pouring out of me in my second book,
Then what comes after is that you collaborate, right? You show that to other people, you get their feedback, and you iterate. You do a new version based on that feedback that you got, because no one is an island. No one is intended to do this all on their own, okay? We work with each other, we listen to each other. This is why I created the Innovators Guild. I have this whole group that's dedicated to just sharing works in progress and giving each other feedback on them, okay? And it's not just writing. People in there are artists, people in there are entrepreneurs. They are sharing their ideas and they're getting feedback. So when you collaborate, then you iterate. That's when you can celebrate and integrate. And so I think celebration is the most underappreciated part of this entire cycle. We have this tendency, once we get someplace, to just be focused on the next thing, right? It's like we got to the one street lamp that we were trying to get to, and now all we can see is like, where's that next street lamp, right? And so we don't take the time to stop and celebrate and integrate what we learned from that part of the cycle before we move forward. On Sunday, I have this launch party, right? I don't do that very often. I don't stop and like celebrate what I've done, but this was a big deal to me. And so I'm actually throwing a party to celebrate this. I really encourage everyone to do this. You don't have to throw a party necessarily, but throw a little party for yourself. Give yourself a reward. Give yourself some kind of, pat on the back, because you forget how far you've come, because now you're focused on where you're going.
When I released my first book, I actually had a book launch party in person. People came. I talked about my journey and how I got to my book. And I got to tell you, it was very rewarding. And I don't like attention, but it felt really good. And when people were saying, this is a great accomplishment. And so now coming out with my second book, I'm not doing a book launch with that, but I think I'm going to do a virtual launch and share about the launch and all of that. And I think it's so important. I think, and I agree with you. It's underutilized. I know for myself, we don't celebrate. We're done. Okay, done. Check. Move on to the next thing this is our next goal. You gotta be in the moment and celebrate what you've accomplished is so important to do.
It's essential. It
really is essential. Well, we've had such a great conversation today. And I mean, I just love having you. I know we connected online on Facebook through another community. And then today, bringing you on to share this important thing on how creativity in your business and how content creation is definitely part of that.
Absolutely.
Process, and how you released your masterpiece book that's coming out is so amazing. So how can people reach you, your website, connect with you? I will definitely put it in the comments here once I get the video out so that people can watch it.
Of course, you can connect with me on Facebook. I have a group on here called Release Your Masterpiece, but really my website is where you can find all the goodies. So it's AudrieMac, ADRIEMAC.com. And there you can find a sample of my doer deck, which is a cyclical organizer that helps you stay in that creative cycle and really be in touch with your natural creativity, no matter what you're doing, and all kinds of other goodies. So come check it out.
I will definitely check it out myself. Well, this was so great to have you here today. And I just can't wait to get a copy of your book and continue chatting with you and learning more about you. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.